Hey guys, it's Will. So why do some traders say I'm long term now after a loss? It seems like nobody's planning to invest and they just fail to exit on the short term trades. And BBAI is one you don't want to do that on. Let's take a look here. This is loss avoidance, right? It's a story where you don't want to feel wrong. You see, most traders, they change their plan or the story of the stock after things feel off. And so the stock here, BBAI, if you're reading earnings reports and you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, I don't know about this one. I've been in it, I've been holding it, and now I'm in it and it's down to the support. Maybe it bounces and we see it continue this cycle again up to $9, $10 a share. But look, if the price is breaking a plan that you had, you want to exit. If you need a new thesis that you have to come up with, then you may have already broke your rules. And so it's important to realize there's a lot of volatility that comes with that. I've held it since $2.80 back in 2024. I want this to be valuable for you all. How can I make this valuable for you? Okay, so the type of conviction you have when you're long term means that I've ridden the stock up to $10 per share and seen the stock go all the way back down to my entry and then all the way back up to $9. And then now it's at where it is currently at $4.40. And we're still up, almost 100% on the long-term positions. But in the short term, it's really important that you look at the plan and you don't break it, because otherwise, what if Big Bear breaks further down? This is possible. This cycle could take time. And so don't buy just because of the headlines or if you see people talking about it. In the long term, I'm looking at things like the valuation. I'm asking one question, which is if growth here even slows by half, which it actually almost has if we take a look at their financials. Let's take a look at their financials and see how much growth has slowed on Big Bear AI. So you go over here, go to their financials. They were at 40 million a quarter back in 2024. And then last quarter, they came in at 33 million. So it didn't go by half, but when you have a financial change and the stock goes down this much, it's also important to look, would I still hold this even if it loses some of that value? And the position size that you have is the position size smaller when the valuation is extreme, because we have seen some extreme valuations. But here's the thing with Big Bear and why I'm going to continue to cover it, but that I want you to know, if you're chasing some of the AI stocks and you haven't, like, if it dumps after a spike, just like kind of we see the spike up to $9 and it sells back down here to $4. If you're chasing, trying to get the hype there, you may end up being some of the exit liquidity. All right. I didn't sell on any of my long-term positions. However, when I say long-term positions, some people hear me say long-term and they're like, okay, well then let me buy it at $10 a share. But they actually aren't willing to ride when things like they're raising capital, dilution fears. Maybe there's some selling pressure, which there is. You see it sell down. And so every time it trends on like StockTwits or on Reddit or on YouTube, very quickly volume explodes. We see it shoot up here, and then after that, the 2 weeks later time frame, it's bled out, right? And so this is quite common. Now, in this move, there are some considerations to look at with Big Bear, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like, why I'm still covering it, why I like the stock. All right, they have some things that are guaranteed for them. Government contracts are guaranteed a lot of times. They've raised up to nearly $1 billion here. But if you look at the backlog quality, it's pretty good. They've got the Department of Defense they work with. They have the Pentagon. They're working with Homeland and Border Security, especially in the airports. They have the AI technology, not just the actual software, but the hardware deployed at JFK and Denver International Airport and LAX and many others. And so the lesson here, read the headlines, yes, but really don't pay attention. Read the assets. They're obviously gearing up for something long term. They've raised a lot of capital. They're up to $1 billion now. So they're gearing up to make big moves. The backlog is gearing up. We see them build more of their AI tools. Their contract potential is gearing up. They're talking about the World Cup with a lot of people coming in and out of the US with their facial scanners that scan at the airports, the international airports, and different ports of entry, to where that's most likely going to increase their revenue. But they're gearing up for what is a cash burn, right? Last time they raised some capital, they did decrease their debt here into the last quarter, but they ended up with a negative net income. They ended up spending a lot. And they also just acquired a company for $250 million. So what if we see them pay that full amount cash, $250 million, for this new AI company they just purchased, Sage, Ask Sage, and then the earnings that we read when they come out with earnings here pretty soon, they are showing big negative net income as a result. Are they generating the free cash flow? You don't really see it. Do they have the total assets? Yes, they do. Liabilities are healthy, but it's like it's an infrastructure. If they're gearing up, they are running in cycles right now, but the revenue does not matter, right? They have low revenue. That's not what I'm looking at. If we've seen cash show up, that means they're gearing up for something. Now, maybe that pays off, and then we see revenue spike, and we're seeing 100 million plus per quarter. Now this valuation seems ridiculous. They're now at a $10 to $20 stock. But even as we said, now they're starting to become a little bit more realistic around the valuation compared to the contracts that they have. So is it just a big data play? I think so. They're going to have a lot of data. Is it just going to be a long-term monitor and we continue to look at our position that we have from $2.80? Yeah. And in the short term, if we start to see this movement where they start to recover and they start to make that rally once again, like we were able to catch a few times in the last year where they've rallied, 200%, then excellent. You guys will have Will here all hyped up and bullish. And you got bullish Will here right in front of you saying, hey, this is looking really good. But in the medium term to short term, they've got downward pressure. And I really like the long term personally, but I think that it's still looking speculative. If you look at their current market cap, and you look at their current assets, it looks fine. The revenue's still flat, and it's so volatile. One quarter, they're negative 200 million. The next quarter, they're positive. That's a big swing. That's $200 million in swing on their earnings income statement, that we could see things shift pretty quick. Now, they're healthy on the balance sheet. Seems like they got the right infrastructure. But did you know that just because, the revenue is declining and just because, they've seen downward pressure, there's also broader downtrends. Palantir has been pretty overvalued. Have you guys seen? If you're looking at Palantir, it's been insanely overvalued. And it might be misunderstood and that I'm not seeing everything there. But most people I talk to about the Palantir valuation, they're not able to explain in one sentence why the valuation is what it is. We were looking for this 35% sell down on Palantir. We do see that. And, people are celebrating at 140 here. Then we see them get to 207. Saying, but even here, people are saying, oh, it's going to be the next NVIDIA. Then we see it pull down big time. I'm not going to say that headlines are the only reason, but you do have a lot of hype, a lot of things. When you look at the valuation, it's not adding up. The multiples are super high, and really it should be priced in around, $100 a share. When it's at $200 a share or even less than that. And so people have large position sizes when others are saying, well, I'm looking at Palantir over the next 5 years. And so time horizon matters for sure. And so hopefully you guys understand, I'm not in any short-term trades. I haven't been doing short-term trades on Big Bear because we're looking for more probability, not just prediction, probability that things are going good. If we were to pull up in prophecy as well, I'm seeing some negative projections for the most part into the next month. even seen as low as $3. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case. We might see some things change here, but look at some of those projections, fairly bearish. I don't know about the multi-model view and seeing the other stocks as well, but this has been super helpful. You can see the nearest support level right here is going to be at $4 a share. So that's still potential sell down. They do have that potential to jump back up into $5.50 to $6 to $7, but that would be more based on the technicals than anything else. And when I'm looking at all the AIs, they're kind of looking at it the same way as me. A lot of companies, especially like Grok, have shifted. They were very bullish into the shorter time frames a while ago. Then when things started to shift downward, you started to see a lot of AIs as well saying, hey, this is going down. And now not only is direction down, the financials are also kind of leading them that direction. And so that's not so good. And you have macro with the defense market, meaning like broader market news not looking good for the defense markets. So you got Claude indicating that over the next week they may sell down as much as 6%. Gemini indicating that they may sell down as much as 5%. And then Grok potentially as much as 18%. And this is, once again, they're given all the proprietary data and analysis that we normally go through, all the news, all of the technicals they otherwise don't have. And you can just see some of those projections fairly negative. We could see where ChatGPT comes in here. Maybe ChatGPT comes in a little more bullish, or maybe they're still bearish. But it'd be interesting to see that as well. You just look at, it's pretty rare that you see as much bearishness. Some of the nearer term timeframes, Claude is anticipating maybe they recover today a little bit. And then into the next week, though, most models fairly bearish there. Claude potentially looking for a recovery, but yeah. So shifts right now until we have some more news come out for Big Bear. So that's how it looks. Appreciate you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like. Let's see. And if you want to get your hands on Prophecy AI here, where you can analyze any stock with multiple models, go through some of the projections that we look through normally, it may be helpful for you to go ahead and look at the projections there. You can get on our first access list. I do analysis manually, but I've found that after going through many, many different analysis, the easiest way and the only attainable way to really keep up with the market is through AI. And Prophecy AI, this machine, uses the best models in a multi-stage analysis for you. And you can go ahead and get access to it in the first link below, as we have a new event coming tomorrow where we'll reveal more of the details. And I would love to see you there. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.